Subscribe to Film Companion for your film fix, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Streaming with Suchin. Today we're going to discuss streaming releases from the first half of March, but more importantly, good hygiene. Before discussing the latest releases, I figure now more than ever what we really need is a streaming guide to the coronavirus, which I just decided is a thing, so just go with it. These are things which I think we should watch to help keep you informed, entertained, and distracted through a particularly turbulent time. First up is the recent coronavirus episode of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, where the comedian and general ideal human being devotes an entire episode to giving you all the essential facts about how it all started, how to stay safe, as well as helping you understand the right level of worried to be. You can watch it on Hotstar as well as YouTube. Next up is one of last year's best films, Virus. Based on the scary Nipah virus outbreak in Kerala in 2018, the Malayalam film from director Ashik Abu is a riveting thriller which takes you through the crisis, but more importantly, how the authorities acted quickly and contained it. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. And lastly, K3G. Watch K3G. Because now more than ever, we could all just use a good old comfort watch to help us through these troubled times, you know? Anyway, the bottom line is be safe and remember, always believe every single coronavirus related WhatsApp forward you receive on your family WhatsApp group because they are all of them exclusively just fact and not at all dumb as hell. Anyway, back to this month's releases, so let's go for it, shall we? We begin with Al Pacino taking on Nazis and Amazon Prime Video's new tentpole show Hunters. Set in 70s New York, Hunters has one hell of a cast, with the main man himself, How I Met Your Mother's Josh Radnor, The Perks of Being a Wallflower's Logan Lerman, and many others. The show follows a ragtag group of Jews who come together to hunt and kill Nazis after they find out that there's an entire Nazi network that's very much alive and active and has infiltrated every level of American society, and who are obviously up to no good. I wonder where the hell they got that idea.
Well, if only they could see you now, right? A real-life fucking superhero.
From executive producer Jordan Peele, what the show tries to do is give you a rousing, badass vigilante drama whilst using it to discuss the horrors of the Holocaust. But that's also really where it struggles. While it's got all the key elements in place for a great show, and the fact that it's an entirely original story which is impressive and just so rare these days, it does a poor job of balancing the fun with the serious. Episode after episode we're given flashbacks which take us through to life in the concentration camps and the various horrific ways that Jews were tortured and killed. And some of those scenes are hauntingly powerful and just really tough to watch. But it fails to package all of the painful history lessons in an engaging show that really keeps you hooked. In the end, Hunters feels like a lot of relentless violence for the sake of it, and there's not much you get from it that you won't get from one of the many great documentaries that already exist about the Holocaust. I couldn't make it past 5 episodes, which I know is insane given that cast. Next up, we come to Pushpavalli Season 2, and man, I'm just happy saying that, and I'm just so glad it's back in our lives. Pushpavalli is one of the most criminally underrated shows on Amazon Prime, and it's the definitive Indian dark comedy to watch. Season 1 of the show, created by and starring Sumukhi Suresh, followed Pushpavalli's escapades at stalking her dream guy and gave us a host of lovably messed up characters. From the adorably aggressive Naveen Richards as Pankaj to the hilariously bonkers landlady Vasu played by Shraddha, among many others. Season 2 sees them all back in our lives as our favourite master manipulator Pushpavalli is back and out for revenge after the consequences of her actions last time around. Second seasons are always tough to crack as you want to take things to a whole new level and try not to give us too much more of the same. While the new season is somewhat guilty of that, with characters conveniently falling back into the same rhythm as they did last time, once again the show delivers another solid punch that manages to strike the rare tone of being hilarious without ever shying away from the seriousness of the subject matter and Pushpavalli's actions. But that's not to say it doesn't have its share of surprises, as this season really flips things on its head and completely messes with your interpretation of right and wrong. Throw in director Debbie Rao, who's one of the most exciting talents working on the web, and what you get is another fantastic season of a show about how love and attraction can bring out the very worst in a person. You can't afford to miss Season 2 of Pushpavalli. And onto Netflix, which had a new Indian original movie, Guilty. Starring Kiara Advani and directed by Ruchi Narayan, Guilty is the first film from Dharma Productions' new dedicated digital arm, Dharmatic. Guilty is what I call a What Really Happened That Night movie, and follows the story of an alleged rape that takes place on a college campus. But is it a false accusation or did it actually happen? Kiara Advani plays Nanki, the girlfriend of the accused, who has to decide whether to believe her boyfriend or the accuser. The film follows the investigation of what went down by piecing together the truth from various conflicting accounts and perspectives. Look, it has to be said up front that you really have to appreciate the intent here of the first Bollywood film that aims to discuss the Me Too movement and makes a sincere attempt to understand its complexities, from the social media trials to the investigations and the consequences. But the film is a tragic, simplistic mess that just seems to get worse as it goes on. Guilty reminded me of, that meme where it says what it thinks it is versus what it actually is? What it thinks it is an exploration of the complexities of the Me Too movement. What it actually is a loud lack of nuance and a messy surface level exercise at approaching a serious issue. The writing is forced all over the place and tries way too hard to be down with the kids, giving us inauthentic characters. The casting is poor with mostly forgettable performances from a large ensemble. Kiara Advani is only as good as the material here, which is not great. Also, the film unfolds through following the investigation of this really weird, overly invested lawyer character played by the particularly terrible Tahir Shabir. But most of all, if you put aside all the messaging, it's just a dull movie which doesn't really work well as a thriller or social drama or just about anything really. In the end, if Anubhav Sinha's Thappad was a triumph of nuance and a strong ensemble drama, this is the exact opposite of that. Guilty is essentially a drinking game where you drink every time somebody says me too or do a shot every time somebody says privilege. You'll be trashed by the first half an hour. While I really appreciate the effort, if you can't do justice to a very relevant pressing thing, then you're better off just not doing it at all. Next up, we come to All Palaji and Z5's new flagship show Mentalhood, which sees the grand return of Karishma Kapoor. Mentalhood has one of the most exciting casts of any recent Indian streaming show, with Tilottama Shom, Chakte India's Shilpa Shukla, Angry Indian Goddesses Sandhya Mridul, and many others. It's a great concept for a show serving as an ode to the Indian mother and the constant and at times hilarious struggles that come with parenting. But because, of course, there's a but, it's so poorly told and put together, it's just a real shame. All Palaji shows are notorious for not having their basics in place, whether it's lazy direction, terrible editing, and dubbing, etc, etc. But you think with a tentpole show like this, they'd really care, but clearly not. The sound has a life of its own and the editing is messy and incoherent with no sense of flow. Scenes just all merge into each other into one giant blob of mediocrity. The writing has little room for nuance with plot points which are just picked up and dropped up and random. Even in the more competent scenes, it never just lets the drama play out and let the actors do their thing with constant cutting and jumpiness. Despite a strong cast, none of the performances really stand out, and Karishma Kapoor particularly doesn't really have much impact. And she just seems like she's going through the motions. Though there is a sweetness to it and Mentalhood does have its heart in the right place discussing important aspects of parenthood, it's just a spectacular waste of talent. I couldn't make it past 5 episodes. Also, a quick special mention of YouTube channel Just Human Things' new show Overtime about 2 Indian IT employees who find themselves caught in an alien apocalypse. It's a fun, playful, inventive and utterly bonkers show in the best possible way. At 5 episodes of just 15 minutes each, it has a fun energy and real imagination, and we need more like it. That's all for this time, but March still has a lot more in store for you in streaming, so I'll see you guys in a few weeks. I mean, hopefully, I guess nowadays you never really know. Yo, who the f*** sneezed?